Good evening. And now here is a word from our man in the street. Thank you very much, and good evening, and hello again. A lot of people ask me, do I enjoy working for the BBC? I enjoy working for a television company that is up to date, modern, and advanced. So advanced that the magazine that they print to tell you about the television programs which are about to come is called Radio Times. I mean, who but the BBC would put the midnight movie on at 11:30? And the black and white minstrels on in color. Even this show is called Show of the Week. We do it once a fortnight. Good company to work for. A very good company to work for. I must tell you, I was in what they call the Playboy Club the other night. And you've never seen such a lecherous lot of old playboys in your life. They have there what they call bunnies. Got big ears, little fluffy tails, and the rest of it to go with it. And I was talking to one of these bunnies in Braille. And I said, tell me, how do you get on with this clientele? Because you're very seductively dressed, and they're a very lecherous lot. Don't they want to fondle you and touch you? And she said, if we are seen being touched by a member of the audience, we are automatically fined. Money is taken from our wages. I said, really? How much do you get a week? She said, I have no idea. You know, in the Playboy Club, they have bunny mothers, which is a nun with buck teeth. I was watching a poker game, and there was a drunk up on the, and it was like this. And every hand he gets beaten. If he gets two pairs, somebody gets threes. If he gets threes, somebody gets a run. If he gets a run, somebody gets a flush. If he gets a flush, somebody gets a full house. If he gets a full house, somebody gets fours. Every hand he gets, he's beaten. He leaves the table broke, goes to the cashier, writes out a check for 20 quid. And the cashier says, 4 5s, this is you win. That's a great thing about the drunk, you see. Even with the drink, the mind never stops working. You get a fellow sitting on a bus, and opposite him is a rather snobbish type lady, and she looks across, she says, you're drunk. He says, you're fat and ugly. She said, you are drunk. He says, you're fat and ugly. She said, you are drunk. He said, I'll be sober in the morning. The other drunk driving his car at 70 miles an hour, hits a bend, a patch of oil. Right through a wooden fence, down a slope, turns over 6 times. Hits the bottom and bursts into flames. Policeman runs down, pulls him out of the car, says, you drunk? He said, of course I'm drunk. What do you think, I'm a bloody stunt man? The drunk, he's never lost for the word. Within the church, drinking is not accepted. It's not frowned upon. No particularly like. You got a priest in the pulpit, and he said, today I am going to talk about the devil drink. The evil born of Satan's satanical mind. I have talked to you about drinking and talked to you about drinking, and you've never listened to me. Today, I will show you a practical experiment. I have here a glass of water, a glass of whiskey, and an ordinary old common worm. Now you watch when I put that worm in the water. Pick him out. He's still alive. Now watch if I put him in the whiskey. Pick him out. He's dead. What is the message behind that? And a fellow stands up and he says, if you drink whiskey, you'll never get worms. You get you get the train going from Dublin to Cork. There's a fellow walking up and down the corridors, and he's got a couple of bottles peeking out of the pockets. And he's saying, is there a Catholic priest on the train? Is there a Catholic priest on the train? Is there a Catholic priest on the train? And he goes up, and he comes back down. He says, is there a Catholic priest on the train? And the fellow steps up, and he said, I'm not a Catholic priest. I am a Methodist minister. And if I can be of any help, I would gladly help you. And he said, oh, no, sir, it's all right. I'm just looking for a corkscrew. I think I'm in trouble now, aren't I? The great thing about drink, actually, a lot of people think about drink, that when you drink, the fellow who really drinks, it creates a nice feeling in him. And we need this today. We need something to kind of relieve us from the pressures of the world. And people think that drunks are nasty. They're not. Drunks can be gentle and kind, because a drink inspires a love for things that don't really mean anything to you. You can fall in love with a tree, tin can, walls. You get a drunk who arrives home and there's his front door and he goes, my front door. I love you. The key for the front door. Kiki. You're hiding. We're gonna open the front door. There's my stairs. Beautiful stairs. Going to walk up the stairs. Walk up the stairs. You coming and gonna stay there? And then my bedroom door. And then my bed. And then my wife. And there's me. We have within the Church of Rome what we call a confessional box, which I suppose is Rome's answer to Freud. It's harder on the knees, but it's a lot cheaper. And I don't know if you've ever been in a confessional box, but what actually happens in a confessional box is the priest sits in the middle, and a fellow comes in this side, and a fellow comes in this side. And the priest listens to his sins, and when he gets out, another one gets in. There's no hanging about. Get in, get rid of it, and get back to the bar. And you get a fellow who goes to the confessional very drunk, and the priest says, how dare you come to the confessional box drunk? He said, I wouldn't dare come if I was sober. A lot of people tell me that I shouldn't tell gags about religion, and I don't know why not. Because all professions have their own private jokes. I mean, all the gags that I tell have been told to me by priests or nuns. Mind you, they're all out of work, but that's... One of the most prolific of all English poets was a man called Anonymous. He did. He's written an amazing amount of stuff. And one of the poems that he wrote was, as I was going up the stair, I met a man who was not there. He was not there again today. I wish that man would go away. Now, if you think about that long enough, that is very spooky. I met a man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. I wish that man would go. That makes your hair stand on end. Have you ever really been in a position, not you, sir, because you got none. Another thing that always baffles me is when they say that man is made in God's likeness. Who are they talking about? Are they talking about the Japanese? Chinese? Indians? Pakistanis? Germans? Englishmen? I personally don't see God as a Chinaman. I can't imagine going to heaven and God standing there saying, how you doing? Heavenly chop suey. An Indian. Can you imagine knocking on God as an Indian saying, welcome. I'm terribly sorry. The place is slightly overcrowded. 5 to a bed, but we'll be all right now. I don't even see God as an Irishman. Can you imagine God 6 foot tall with a big wimpy jacket on? Saying, come on in, lads, have a jar. Dig a hole. I see God as an Englishman. The bowler hat and the brolly. I mean, who else but an Englishman would say, I'm terribly sorry, you can't come in. You've got to go below and burn.